everybody, and welcome to Libromancy, podcast about the magic of books. Today we're going to be talking about In a Holidaze by Christina Lauren. So let's repeat the magic of books. Well, I wanted to say, everybody, I hope you're having a great time of year. This book is a little bit different than what we normally read here. This was just a quick, short book set around Christmas time because it is Christmas time. And it was honestly a fun read, very light on the fantasy side, but there is a little magical element. Let me tell you about the story. It's a story of a girl who is forced to relive the 6 days prior to Christmas because her Christmas just goes horribly wrong the whole time. And as she is getting ready to go home, she makes the wish to the universe, just show me what I need to do to be happy. Little did she know that she would be forced to relive a Groundhog Day-like experience where she has to repeat the last 6 days till Christmas until she gets it right. It was a good story. It was enjoyable. It was fun. There was nothing overtly bad about it. You could really tell that she did her research. I really enjoyed that all of the characters really felt like real people. We're working with a small cast here, and it just showed that everybody had their own emotions and their own feelings, and they genuinely cared for each other. It was a great story. So let's get into our spoilery section now. Just going to give a brief overview of what happens in the book, and then we're going to talk about some specifics that I liked, didn't like. You know how it goes. So the story starts with her, our main character, Malin, waking up the day of Christmas, and she made a huge mistake. She made out with Theo the night before when she's in love with his brother, Andrew. So that's funny in and of itself. Continues to go on from there to worse. The cabin that they've stayed at over Christmas for years, they can't keep it. They can't afford the upkeep on it, so they're going to sell it. And this is just really devastating for her. So she wishes on their way back to the airport, hey, can I, universe, show me a sign? Tell me what, show me how to be happy, which is a key word there. Show me how to be happy. And then her car gets hit by a Christmas tree truck and she wakes up on the plane flying back into Utah 6 days ago. The first couple repeats are pretty hilarious to read because she's freaking out and she doesn't understand where things are going or what's happening. And it was interesting. I noticed near the end that every time she stopped being happy or she got too sad, then death would kind of come and then she would reset. So there's one time they're doing snowmen and then everything kind of devolves and it's not the tradition that she was expecting or what she was wanting, and then she starts getting upset about it, and then a tree branch falls and kills her and she resets. And now obviously she doesn't know how many resets she has or why, but honestly I thought there would be more resets in the book than there were. There's only 4, maybe 5 resets in the whole book. And while it worked, I just went in expecting a few more, just more mistakes, more problems getting everything to line up. I wasn't mad that there weren't more. Just I wanted more. I thought it would have been a lot funner with more. And so because this is a story about Christmas, and usually stories about Christmas are about learning your lesson and being with the one you really are supposed to be with. Every time she reset, she would keep trying to go to hook up with Andrew because she's been in love with him for so long. And I thought by the end of the book, she would realize that Theo was the one that was for her. But I think the book made it pretty clear, once we start, that that's not the direction it's going. I probably foolishly held out a little hope for it, but it turned out the way it was supposed to, and I did like the ending. So she is, trying to find her happiness with Andrew, and she tries the first couple days to just do the same traditions, to hold tight to the traditions that they've done their whole life, and she realizes that that's not working, and so she's getting frustrated, and so on one of her repeats, she decides, I'm just gonna do what I want. I'm gonna say what I want, no repercussions, no regrets. And so she starts changing things, and then she sees that these changes are for the better. They're making her happier. Specifically, they always build snowmen and have a snowman making contest. And while she loved that, she changes it up a little bit this time because it's kind of gotten stale. They just build the snowman because they've always built snowman. They always go sledding because they've always gone sledding. And I thought sledding, that was nice that she actually, took the time to realize, hey, you don't actually even like sledding. Why do you guys even come? Just go sit down in the lodge, have some hot chocolate, relax, that kind of a thing. And that increases, she sees all the good that she's doing. Like I said earlier, at the end of this week, we know that the cabin is going to be sold. And I thought that the method for resolving the cabin being sold is a little different, kind of felt a little off to me, or just kind of out of nowhere. I know they tell you, let's talk about another character. You got Benny first, just so you can understand. Benny is a family friend. He's basically part of the family. Kind of a weird guy, grows mushrooms in his closet, and that's just off. That was funny. But, we learn on one of these repeats that he's exceptionally wealthy, that he invested in something really popular before it got really big, and he's made a ton of money. And so near the end of the week, they're talking, everybody's kind of prepped that like, hey, probably not going to keep the cabin. And, our main character, Malin's like, I've got a plan. I'm going to, if you co-sign on a loan with me, we'll work on it. We'll make sure it stays up to date, keep it up. And he's like, actually, I'm just, buying it straight out. I'm just going to pay people to fix it kind of. And I was like, that's, makes sense because he's got the money, and she had a good-ish reason for keeping it, for him to do that. But I felt like it was kind of out of nowhere. Other than that, the romance is pretty fine between Malin and Andrew. She talks to him, she confesses, he had a crush on her as well. I never thought it would be. I don't know, I liked that the life was messy, nothing was perfect, but everything was good. I felt that all the characters really felt real and not like cookie cuttery, and not like, oh, well, I guess I'll love you now, and nothing stopped them. They have a huge fight when Malin tells Andrew that she's been, repeating days, and he doesn't believe her at first, of course, because that is a pretty ridiculous claim. But then, she predicts a couple things and it comes true, and he, realizes that, and he gets offended, like, hey, I'm just the prize for you to win after figuring out this thing. Like, this is not fair to me. And so they have a fight, and she just kind of thinks like, hey, this is the end. Like, I guess I don't get to be with him ever. And, later on, it's like another chapter. He's like, no, that was not me breaking up with you or forcibly ending everything that we've, shared this past week. This is just a fight that we have, and we're going to get over this, and we're going to get through this. And so I like that ending. And then it shows us the next year in the epilogue of the last chapter, just them moving forward. They're still together. They're still deeply in love. They still like making out in closets, even though they get found out every time they get in a closet to make out, which was kind of funny in the book. Every time they would start, kissing and such, they would be found by somebody, no matter where they were. That was super funny. Another great part I liked is that one of the second time she repeats, she's able to convince one of her family members, that she is repeating the same day over and over again, because she had him tell her something personal that he would never tell her otherwise. And she repeated it back to him, and now he knows. But one of the first questions he asks is like, well, why didn't you, with your knowledge, like prevent your dad from chipping his tooth on the cookie that you knew would happen, or, prevent this other accident from happening? And she's like, well, nobody believes me, or I didn't know what was going on. And he's like, that's no excuse. Like, just do it. And then, she starts doing that, and that, starts pushing her on the path of like, everything doesn't have to be the same. And so that was really funny. I really did like the theme of change, that while traditions are good, traditions are only as good as we, allow them to be. We can continuously change our traditions. There's nothing wrong with that. She shows a lot of personal growth in a believable way. So a little bit of a shorter episode for you guys today, but I hope you had a Merry Christmas, had a Happy Holidays. Thanks for listening, everybody. And if you have any questions, comments, you can email me at libromancypod@gmail.com. Please leave a review and a like wherever you can. And remember to repeat the magic of books.